Hello, everybody. I'm looking from the OBS thing right now. I have no idea how many viewers are in, but I'm going to assume it's a decent amount, and probably that's the best way to go about it. I'm here from Italy. I haven't streamed in a while. I will not be making any apologies for that. That is just what it is. I got my computer back. Some of you might have been following that saga, that journey, that legacy. It's all back in my hands now, no missing screws or anything. I'm very thankful for that happening. And speaking of things I owe a sketch pull from last month. Not sure if anyone keeps track of that, but I owe Left 4 Dead specifically. That's why I got the soundtrack playing in the background. See? Alright, let's see if this monitor works perfectly. Yeah, that works. So I wanted to try a little, very simple doodle, a little 2D, little old boy. Catch my drift. I've never streamed this early before. Apologies for that, at least in terms of Eastern Standard Time. But this is probably what I'm gonna do from now on. If not Saturdays, then probably Sunday. First, I gotta figure out the background I want to do for this. I was really thinking about what sort of area to do, but I think as of right now, I'll probably just do the opening hotel thing. It's got the very nostalgic, cheap blinds that every motel seems to use. Il Chingato is gone, yes. God rest his soul. And I haven't really got each character in their place right now. Well, it's probably going to be Blue River's here. And I want to dress her like Nick. Yeah, I'll dress her like Nick. We'll just start with the titular character then. Yeah, I hope everyone's doing fine this fine night. For me, at least, it's about 6:10 p.m. right now over here in the peninsula, the one that juts out of South Europe. What do I draw there? Okay, there we go. The soundtrack might be just a bit too non-mood fitting, but we'll let it go for a bit more. Let's see, I want to go for a bit bigger eyes than that. The proportions are a bit hard to figure out here. You notice a lot of Western chibi stuff tends to not get the proportions exactly right when they do this kind of thing. This one, the head might just be too big. Euroton for gaming. That is the next channel name change. Thank you. That's a perfect idea. Let's see. I'll just make these people taller. I think that's the best idea as of right now. Yeah, that's better. Something's really feeling off to me beforehand. Blue River's team killing based. Who would Estella made in Team Fortress 2? A heavy, 100%. I have a lot of ideas for Blue Rivers and TF2 gear, but the most obvious one that sticks out is that she would obviously be filling Scout's role. There really is anyone else. Abby's pretty obvious, the German medic. Faye, I have no idea, actually. You notice everyone in the Source Engine has this very iconic pose. I'm not sure what to call it, but even before I looked up the reference right now that I'm looking at of Nick, I just instinctively knew he's in this position most of the time. I always imagine Estella being the engineer. Yeah, actually that fits better. Abby is more of a Omen role. I was about to say Dub Brute, but I remember now from the comics that I'm pretty sure Heavy has like multiple PhDs or something like that from the University of Moscow. If I remember correctly, in Russian literature. Which me myself, I only read one, and I don't even know if it counts as literature. It was a play. I think it was by Chekhov. And I'm pretty sure I talked about it before even. It just kind of depresses the hell out of me. It's about this guy who marries a woman, and then... What did he do? He did it to get her fortune, I remember that. And then he gets like upset when she starts like dying of cancer, but because... different reasons? I forget. It's like not what you expect. Anyways, I don't want to spoil it for anyone that actually wants to read it. I don't know if it's a... I wouldn't call it a bad story. I just say it depresses me, and that doesn't really show me anything else about it. I've listened to several Russian songs, so I'm obviously very cultured. Yeah, I agree. Ever since I listened to Soviet-Afghan music years ago, I've been so cultured. played COD World at War. Oh, well, there was a bunch of comments. A decent amount of Russian literature. Most of these are depressing or melancholic, yeah. I read The Idiot once and it made me feel like an idiot for not understanding. A lot of that stuff is, I mean, I'm not gonna say it isn't unintelligent, but a lot of the stuff was written for the context of the area, which is, you know, a bunch of kind of Enlightenment era booey. So, if there's stuff you don't get from it, most of the time they're just referencing, like, the one guy that they are in love with, pretty much. And for the most part, that seems to be either Nietzsche or... I don't know, I was about to name a historian, not a writer, but a lot of philosophers from the time just kind of aped whatever philosophy was trending at the moment. Never let it be said that these writers were not just following trends at the time. Which there's nothing wrong with that either, that's just how it is. I just tend to give a lot of more credit to them than maybe is due in terms of the originality department, at least. I played COD World at War. That's great. COD World at War is one of my favorites. Though again, that is also incredibly morbid to go through. In terms of like my favorite Call of Duty ever, I'm pretty sure that would have to be Black Ops 1. I noticed there was a lot of hype recently for Black Ops 2, looking back at it. I've never really been that big a fan of it, so I'll say that unpopular opinion right out the way. Nothing against it, I just don't think it's as good as the first one, which was like all Cold War. Also, Ignis, very good to see you. We haven't messaged each other in a while, and I apologize for that, but I hope you're doing well. Genuinely. Oh, let's save this. I should probably save this. Don't look at the secret files. Yeah, I'll save over that. Why not? It was Drawstream? Oh no, he wrote The Idiot. I'm sorry. I thought he wrote the play I was talking about. Master and Marguerite is one of the best novels I ever read. I love Bukov. Well, make sure to give that one a read then. Thank you for the recommendation. Right now I'm reading Dune at a snail's pace. I was reading it a lot faster when I actually had the physical novel, but I had to leave that behind in America, and it was, you know, probably for good in terms of what ended up happening with the luggage. There you go. This Blue River's all set and done. Just have to make everything else taller in reference to it. You almost just spilled water all over the desk. Very cool. You're doing great. Just got settled a new job, changed accounts. It's fantastic. Glad to hear it. You never completed Black Ops 1? God horrific? That's insane to me. That someone could sit through like the first campaign missions and like not finish that up. That's genuinely impressive to me. Alright, well I guess this will obviously just be Abby. What Abby? Yeah, coach. Sure. Dude, is your favorite novel? Yeah, no, I'm enjoying it a lot. I was telling one friend who's actually an English major that I was reading it, and he said he found it boring, but I'm very thankful that I have not at all found it boring. I think the writing is very fun. I can see it's a bit matter of fact, perhaps in prose, but for something like that, you kind of need it to be. Very complex, noble family politics. Sorry for the delay, I'm looking up a good reference for Abby right now, because I've changed her design so much over to comics. Blue seems like the type to steal all the health potions Vermintide. Yes, she definitely would. I have to finish Vermintide as well. Alright, that is Abby's face. Let me just rough over this again. This might not be the best to work with. Dune is able to present very complex dynamics and interconnected plot lines in very straightforward language. Oh yeah, with minor dyslexia, I can't even imagine what it's like to read. I got one pal with dyslexia, and the only book series he was really able to get through was Aragon, which I only watched a movie, and I'm pretty sure that's probably not a good reference for it. Trying to figure out what was abnormal with this, instead of the river's legs are too long. That is more her, yeah. Your GFC gets an hour-long discussion about Dune every once in a while. She hates it. It's a running theme, I notice. Not specifically with dads, but whenever the topic turns to sci-fi. They just don't get it. Right, babe? You hate sci-fi, babe. She fucking hates sci-fi, as she clarifies from the couch. Fantasy you like, but sci-fi really grinds your... She does like Dune, yeah. Because that's the great part about Dune. It sees a lot of science fiction, and instead of like making it about the technology, it's about the people fighting within it. So yeah, Dune gets the seal of approval. A shame about how awful the new movie looks. I still watched it, but man, how fucking dry can you really make this beautiful setting? I was like looking at the 90s games, and even they look better than the movie. It's insane, just in terms of color and designs. Yeah, that's the best way to describe the new movie. It's okay, and they changed like some characters around, which is very bizarre. I feel like I don't even have to mention it. But yeah. watched it and then immediately turned on Lawrence of Arabia. Watched halfway through that. Lawrence of Arabia. I've been really meaning to rewatch that lately. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's one of the very few movies where, you know, they hype it up a lot in film class and stuff like that, and then you're like, oh, okay, whatever. I've seen other movies that were hyped up and they weren't really all that. Lawrence of Arabia is just like, that's exactly my taste. It takes such a complex history narrative, you know, about like the rise and fall of a historical leader, and they're able to sum it up accurately without like demeaning the actual complexities involved in it. And that is an underrated talent, because obviously you're never going to be able to cover the entire thing. But I still reference the scene at I think when they're in Damascus, when they've kicked out the Ottoman Empire and they're just talking about how to lead the great next Arab state, and you can just see everything crumble within like minutes. Because, you know, as much as I harp on about like clan loyalty and tribes and stuff like that, and how probably nice it feels to be part of one, obviously when you're trying to form a modern nation state, as seen in that scene, it doesn't work out well. It's only like like I said, I think 3-minute long scene if you want to watch it to get the idea of what I'm talking about. After the stream, probably, ideally. But yeah. I have to look up a gas canister from Left 4 Dead 2. I forgot what they look like. I know they look like the same in real life, but you get what I'm saying. Excuse me. This part of the soundtrack is just the guitar going over and over. My guitarist friend can actually make this noise with his mouth. He doesn't even need the guitar. I know that sounds like a vulgar joke, but I meant that with the fullest sense of the meaning. Real gas canisters are a huge Left 4 Dead reference. There aren't many left in my town because drug addicts keep stealing it and huffing gas out of it. By my town, I mean my old hometown back in the USA. I don't know what pants exactly I want to give her, but we'll figure it out. I guess I'll go for more of a mom jeans look. Flip that around for a quick look. Yeah, that's fine. Made her a bit too tall. The blue is very short. Cannot wait to immediately retweet this 2 seconds after you post it. Thank you very much. I appreciate that support. That was just a very genuine, sweet thing to say. New England Gothic, huffing gas in a stolen jerk. You bring up a good point where it's very surreal to see that kind of stuff happen under like a beautiful Victorian era house, which is very New England. The house is not the drug huffing. It's kind of a nationwide problem at this point. I actually just hit up one of my friends recently to show up in the comic. His name's changed, of course, but his whole face is there, and he's a drug addict. And I had to choose him because he doesn't do any drugs. He's a straight ace, a buy the books type of man. I'm from Michigan at this point. I expect to hear it and see that. Yeah, it's probably worse than the. You know, we say New England is cold, but like the Midwest, I can't even imagine. I don't even want to imagine. Here. This up. Like I said, I'm going for an old boy, full like two-dimensional look here, like Egyptian hieroglyphics. Out here be Stella. Live in Montana, no drug addicts, but there's bound to be some. Yeah, it's yeah. In every state, it seems to be concentrated in like a specific town in your county, is what I notice. This isn't Montana. I just meant like across all of America. Just looking up the latest Estella design. Yeah, there we go. I mean, she's gonna be a bit in the distance, so it's not that big a deal. It's weird when you finish a character's arc in the comic, or you know, at least a good portion of it, and you forget how to draw the character that you drew non-stop for like months on end. You ever played The Sims 4 here? Yeah, I did. Why do you ask? I've been doing it just because it came free, and up getting to one who was married. Yeah, that's usually why people tend to play it, just the drama that comes from the little guys. It's a nostalgic thing for me. Ever since I was a kid, I played the first Sims game. I kind of went for the entire franchise. Even some of the handheld games, like the Herbs on the GBA, which is like, I still stand by that just being a playing a good game. There's really nothing wrong with it. I tried to show it to a friend once in like middle school, and he said that's not The Sims, and he just got angry. And I insisted that it was The Sims indeed. Gotta say, the soundtrack for The Sims 1 has not been topped yet, though. No, it hasn't. In fact, I have to admit the Left 4 Dead soundtrack is a bit samey. They use the same left motif. So we'll just go straight to the Sims 1 soundtrack, which is an easy. Even if you don't know the Sims 1, I'm sure like many of you have like heard the this in the background of YouTube videos. It's like mall music with soul. Whoever's plays Sims and immediately guns down Abby is a joke. Yeah, she gets the bod accidentally. This is where that's from. Yeah, like almost everything you hear on YouTube is from the Sims 1 soundtrack. I wish I was at church. You can be, mate. You can. Just don't be afraid of charges. Highly unrecommended, though. It's a bit hard to draw the special effect. I mean, it depends. Like, okay, I mean, like you see right here, right? That's the Left 4 Dead Charger, obviously, but you might recognize that. Even when you try to look up the Left 4 Dead Witch for references, you get all this art from like 2008 era DeviantArt, and yeah, like here that's the witch. But if I just type in anime. Yeah, you get all this like this sort of stuff. Very nostalgic. Yeah, it was always her and Hunter, which I guess it makes sense, you know. No complaints around that. You hear this music every time you watch a TF2's SFM. It's surprising. A lot of them don't actually use it, all things considered. You stopped playing TF2 to be here for the stream. Appreciate it. I hope I won't keep you guys too long, especially from things like TF2. We're practically almost done with this. Let's see, it depends on what was it. Wow, we've been like 40 minutes in on this already? I did not expect that. Time flies with The Sims 1 soundtrack, I swear. Jack is foregoing essential enrichment. It's a bit of a raving rabbit's look. We'll go back to that. Your series Blue Rivers has inspired me so much ever since about a year ago or less. Thank you. Author, your story is great too. I'm always very happy whenever someone is able to get anything out of work I do. I hope especially that you learn from my the how do I say it, like the opposite of the format of Blue Rivers ideally. After doing this like style of plot line where it like jumps around a lot and it's only like 4+ pages or something a week, every 2 weeks, I don't recommend it for a longer form story at least. But the thing is, like, when I try to imagine doing Blue Rivers in another way, I can't. Like, this is the way I guess the story really had to come to fruition. But let me tell you, I'm glad that upon his story I've figured out what's a more manageable thing to do. Workloads wise, was especially just pacing wise. So I hope that will also be a lesson. Tangent form here, which basically is just a fancy word for no collision. There we go. what shoes does Ella's have on? Alright, that's about what I expected. Combat boots. Poly fans are still skeletons. Yeah. As someone who enjoys reading fun historical and cultural anecdotes, I'm loving the Pawnee story format. I'm glad it's more manageable when you're into it. Yeah. Nah, it's manageable. I used the wrong word. I just meant like I don't really even mean like really on my end. I mean more on like the viewers end, you know. Like you said, Pawnee story is much more easier to read between long stretches of time and within rapid stretches of time, which is very underrated. Compared to something like Blue Rivers. And I'm very glad for that. What's that? Now time to do this. No, I think I will exaggerate it. Is that a straight line? That probably is a straight line. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. Cavallo Christina, my beloved. I have things to be happy. Yeah. You have the old Blue Rivers United State map down on your phone. I hope that map is still accurate. Because I don't think I've gone back to it in a few years for a reference. Well, I'm glad I'm not doing like a voyage type journey, you know? So it works out. If I did have to do a voyage type journey, I could be very screwed very quickly if I didn't memorize the map. Blue even said it was outdated when I had it. Yeah, I just read it. The map does say it outdates himself because of how in flux everything is. Even the parts of the map that say United States now, you have to fracture them into different pieces because of the way the plot is right now, predictably. And now warlords or generals with the who are with the army are now warlords for the most part. Will travel art to where she reveals at the end it was just a quick pack he read to Mystic Sea for. To make Faye the Witch a little bigger. There we go. My favorite Detroit City story doesn't even take place there. Impressive. Let's see here. Charger feet. Wipe out. You ever play Kaiser regular? I played it a bit. I'm not really good at Wave 4. I'll say that right off the bat. So I can't really comment too much on it. But I like the idea. The setting is cool. But in terms of, yeah, the New England Civil War path, yeah, you know, if they're not from New England, I understand that it's very hard to find out what's, like, unique about the place. There's a lot. But, even the lack of focus on a maritime culture, you can kind of tell there's really no one from here. Because that was, like, the thing with this place. It used to be the third busiest whaling port in the world in the 1800s. So yeah, that was a quick tip-off. The fact there was no, like, maritime nautical privateers, like, focus or anything like that. Something to do with pirates and smuggling. Yeah, even Fallout 4, you know, I got really excited when I heard it was in Boston, the Commonwealth. And then they didn't really do anything with it. Like, oh yeah, Fenway Park. Oh yeah, baseball. Anything else? There's one house that has to do with, like, the witches from, like, the Salem witch trial or whatever. And it's like, okay, that's it? Yeah, that's it. It's a common theme, I suppose. Not to be helped by the fact that our film industry in New England only seems to just make horror movies, and that's it, about witches and colonial houses. So it's hard to blame people outside of it for not getting the best picture. I'm genuinely in shock of how simple the room or interior design in Left 4 Dead is, but how real it still feels. Like, oh, it's a cheap hotel. What does that look like? And it's like, of course they're gonna have like the old 60s stuff still there, which I like. But I can see, you know, the point of it, which is it's an old spot. Kaiserreich needs a Blue River sub. Man, that would be insanity. BRB making an EU New England model where you get to be here. Salem, Mass went from like 30,000 people there to 150,000 people just due to witch tourism. Yeah. Yeah, it is pretty bizarre. I mean, you know, in New England, our kind of reference for that stuff is, I don't know about some people, maybe they were lucky, but where I was, we didn't really get to visit Salem on a field trip or anything like that. We read and we watched the movie based off the screenplay of The Crucible. And that was a whole thing that was pretty much about the events there. And it's sad. It's nice to see, I guess, even in that story, you know, there's a whole theme of loyalty towards your family and stuff like that. Because I'm not sure how based on facts that was of the time, but during the trial, if you admitted you were a practitioner of the dark arts, the Inquisition would let you live, but they would confiscate your property, basically. So if you were accused of witchcraft and you went to jail, they were like demanding, you know, your signatures to, you know, in the hopes that you would basically give up your property to the church, the state at that point in the Puritan colonies. And a lot of people died, especially fathers, because they refused to live if it meant that their family would not be getting their house and the farmstead, which is kind of what the Crucible is about for a lot of the men prisoners. So it was nice to see that as a major theme and presented in the story as like the point of it all, I guess. Thoughts on Back 4 Blood? All I saw was a Croby Cat video on it, so probably pretty biased, but looked pretty sad in the video. Yeah, we did the Crucible reading. That was really fun. Reading out a screenplay with everyone acting it together. I was Giles Corey, who was the guy who said more weight, not for to spoil anything, but yeah, he was cool. Yeah, Left 4 Dead 2 is very fun with friends. Vanilla campaigns or mods. It's always been a very favorite multiplayer game of mine. I'm always shocked whenever someone tells me they never played it. Alright, now it's starting to come together. Also realizing now that these are curtains. I thought they were like the cheap blinds. Which house score? Oh yeah. Spoilers. Don't read the rest of Agnes's comments if you don't want spoilers for the Crucible. Just buying the game overall is really fun. You made the zombies Peter Griffin with Peter Griffin voice lines. Elite from Halo, TF2 medic for Jesus. One thing I was obsessed with in middle school was a French coach mod, which is literally took coach, but he put on whiteface essentially with a mime, and he'd use all his French voice lines from the French dub of the game. So you would have like Nick go like, "What do you think about that, coach?" And coach would go like, "Ah, just sacre je sais pas." And everyone else would go like, "Yeah, you got that right, coach." Everyone understood him apparently, but no one could speak his language. The official Blue Rivers VTuber coming out? Banned in 5 seconds. Yeah, exactly. You know, one day, if I'm having financial difficulties, I'll make the Blue Rivers VTube, but doing okay as of right now. That's a desperation tactic. How you doing, Big Tough? Doing alright. Yeah, doing just fine. No complaints, really. I'm still getting my brain, used to the fact that I need to be coherent, because I kind of just coast by for a while. I'm just chilling out, getting used to my surroundings again. I should be okay now, getting back into the groove of things. For a while, I was dealing with the bureaucracy, but that's over now. We got our appointment to show up, to the local immigration office. That's gonna be in. So I should say, for reference, the average before all this, I guess maybe even like 4 years ago, it was about 2 months and a half to get an appointment at the immigration office. Now I got told to show up in March 1st. Which is quite a distance off from the time this video comes out. Which I don't mind. I'm glad that we got anything at all and we were able to turn it in. It's just, it's fascinating how backed up things have gotten. But like I said, so is like the American immigration bureaucracy. The whole process of getting a green card now. It's kind of a worldly thing. And that's for many, many political reasons that sure we all have our thoughts on. Yeah, good to see you too, Monk. Right, I'm just trying to figure out what other furniture to put in here. This is a very easy trick to give some depth to these things. You see what I'm doing? A little bit of a triangle shadow. Cheap paper cups. There we go. Perfect. And now at this point, just trying to figure out how to fill in this space. Should you put a table for either a melee weapon or a gun? Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, well, I'm out of space for it. I just realized. Yeah, we'll put a crowbar right here. Why not? How about one of the graffiti walls? Yeah, I will have to figure that out. Favorite government type Stellaris? It's always the same in Stellaris. You know, you try to roleplay something and you just end up as a full fanatic authoritarian genocide run. It's just how the psyche works, I guess, and why so many leaders become megalomaniacs. Or that might just be a self-report, I don't know. But that seems to be how it tends to go for a lot of players. Don't put me in a position of power. Do some graffiti from the game. Yeah, that's a good idea. Do something having to do with the referencing Blue Rivers. This soundtrack really does fit what's going on right now. Yeah, the effect comes across now that I was talking about, I think. Baby, are you okay? Yeah, thank you. I gotta work on my posture still. Alright, there we go. That's a little better. At least it's better than the hunchback pose I was doing before. Now Space 2 turns into a fascist. Well, that's just playing the United Empire, yeah. I fucking love the United Empire, or United Federation, whatever it's called. Too bad Endless Space 2 lore just doesn't interest me as much as Endless Legend, but still. I like the idea there. You saw them trying to like do like actual imperial politics, which is like an emperor tries to take control and steer it in their own way. And you get to decide which person is the next legacy of the empire, which is very cool. That's actually how historical empires go when there's a big leadership change. That was the only one that dealt with it, but it was kind of fast. You know, because you solve the whole like imperial thing in Endless Space 2, and then it's just kind of over in terms of like the main plot of it, which is like okay, whatever, but could have been more. Sci-fi human imperialism, always back to human faction, yeah. See the shape of your spine. This is pretty good for now. I'll color it later off the stream because it's starting to get late and I'm getting a little hungry at this point. But together we'll figure out what graffiti to put right here before we end it. I wonder where we can put it. Taking any ideas. Endless Space 2 taught me I could go for fish breasts. Thank you, sir. I should make some notes to myself as well. Before I forget. Whoa. What paper is vertical stripes? The We Are Monsters graffiti. Yeah, I love that one. With the whole conversation. Yeah, I got it. So this is how it shows up in the game also with different stuff that I like. Yeah, it shows up with all these responses in the safe room of the game. Good handwriting, terrifying. Thank you. To pride myself on. What character does Blue play in Left 4 Dead 2 and why is it Coach? She fits as Nick, but yeah, she would probably play as Coach. There we go. Perfectly done. Actually, just before we close off, I'll end on this last thing. Be a one-man cheeseburger apocalypse. I could tell who was gonna draw just from the hat. Is it really so predictable? Have I been found out so easily? Made him a little chunky looking in this, but that's alright. Just make his hat bigger. finally. Before I color anything else here. Perfect. There we go. Tidy him up right there. There we go. The critic always finds a way. Alright. Thank you for tuning in, guys. I'll see you probably next week, somewhere around that range. No promises.